What up, Golf DMV? Listen to your YouTube for a second here. We don't put up much YouTube content. We'll get better at it. We'll put some up there. But yeah, LB and I had a chance to go to Woodmont Country Club in Rockville. Not because we're members. I know we don't do that fancy stuff unless we're invited and can play for free. And we had an opportunity to do that. Now that might change. We might actually get an invite back to Woodmont. We'll talk about that a little bit later on the show. But it was media day for the U.S. Adaptive Open. Now, this is for individuals who play golf with disabilities, and so we were able to talk to two of the players. We did one-on-one interviews with both of the players that were there. It was a young lady named Cassie, who is from Manassas. She is playing golf right now in college, despite the disability, and also Ford. He was there as well, and we got a chance to chat with him. But the one-on-one interviews, that's going to be on the podcast for you guys to listen to, and we're going to release that a little bit later this week. But what we want to share with you right now is some of the media day stuff. Now, before I even get to that, the U.S. Adaptive Open this year is going to be at Woodmont in Rockville. Watch this, y'all. Totally free event. Totally free event. Come up to Woodmont. You can park right there at the club and walk around and see these resilient, dynamic athletes do what they do despite any disabilities, man. It's going to be a wonderful event. I can't wait to go. I'm going to make sure I take Manny up there to see it as well. July 7th through the 9th. Those are the dates, okay? July 7th through the 9th. Try to get up there and check things out. So what you're going to see on this video is just some of the media day, like media events, some of the press conference, if you will. So the first thing we're going to do, this is not in order by which we saw it or by which we engaged, simply because I want to hear from the players first. And so what you're going to see first is Jonathan Coe, who is the USGA championship coordinator as far as communications. He did a fireside chat with both players, Cassie and with Ford. And so you're going to see that right now first. Then the second clip you're going to see is Jonathan Coe kind of introducing everybody to like what's happening, what it's all about, and things like that. And then you'll hear from Stephanie Perel, who is director of U.S. Adaptive Open. And she talks a little bit about the course and course design and why Oakmont was a great choice and just talking about all that kind of stuff. So hope you guys are able to enjoy this, man, and really get in the weeds. And if in the DMV, get out to watch this tournament. So I hope you enjoy this content and really hear and appreciate the attention that the USGA is paying to individuals with disabilities, getting them out in that course and letting them do their thing.
Ford, we'll start with you. Just given how close your roots are to this area, how special will the championship be to be here at home?
Incredibly special. I will be sleeping in my old bed. I will have my best friend on the bag. He is not having to make the trip to Kansas this year, so he can sleep in his own bed as well. But it means the world. Being here and having my family and a lot of my cousins that'll be able to come and watch the tournament will be incredible. And just the familiarity with the area is so nice. I know the commute well, like you said, just went to high school just down the street, so I'm very familiar with Rockville Pike, and also fortunate that I get to be up here a few days in advance and practice and play at Congressional, where I'm a member, fortunately enough. So have a little training camp ready for myself this week before the tournament.
Well, you get a practice run in today, so you're going to be in good shape. What do you expect the crowd support from friends and family to be like? I heard some rumors of custom hats being made. They'll make an appearance.
The rumors are true. Last year I was surprised in Kansas. The first day my wife showed up with my parents and her parents, my in-laws, wearing hats that said my middle name, Redford, with a red mustache on the hats. They were popular enough that we're making a new batch for this year, and we had a bunch of people reach out and request a Redford hat for 2025, and hopefully we'll see a couple of those roaming the fairway here next week. But yeah, it means the world to me to be so close to most of my family and cousins, and have a few siblings coming into town to watch as well. So I'm very excited.
So when you were born with clubfoot, the doctor said you'd likely never walk normal and definitely wouldn't even run at full speed. But look at you now. You played lacrosse in high school and went on to coach. How are you able to persevere with such a diagnosis and end up where you are today?
I look back and all I can think about is if I didn't have older siblings to push me, I don't know where I'd be without them. I am the youngest of 7 children, and I used to be the smallest, and the only way I could hang out and play with them was to find a way to keep up. That's how I turned into a lacrosse goalie at Georgetown Prep, as my older brothers were playing high school lacrosse at Prep, and the only way I could hang out with them was hop in the goal and get some of their shots. So it's definitely been a lot to do with my older siblings pushing me, my parents pushing me. My parents tell the story that when I was born, they assumed I was going to be the artistic child and be a musician or something like that, but something in me made me extremely competitive, and I'm thankful for that. And I just think the overarching lesson of failing early and learning how to fail well, I failed a lot early on, and I think that's benefiting me more and more as life goes on.
Without a doubt. And you did tell me it's a goal of yours to be the first American to win this championship. So do you think you can do it? Last year, final round 666 made a statement.
Absolutely. That's my goal. I think anything I enter, I'm trying to win as a competitor. And I've put in a lot of work the past year. Last year's Adaptive Open in Kansas was my first adaptive event. The qualifier for it was my first adaptive event, and I realized some things through playing in competition that I needed to improve on. And after last year's US Open, got to work on those things right away, and have been working very hard in the gym, on the course, and practicing as much as I can. So I think that's a good goal to have, and I'm excited to see if I can do it.
All right, well, good luck next week.
Thank you.
Over to you, Cassie. So can you just tell us a bit about just growing up with cerebral palsy? You told me that the doctors just wanted you to stay active, but golf wasn't your first sport of choice.
Yeah, so I was born with cerebral palsy. I had multiple procedures when I was younger. I used to get Botox injections. I also got muscle lengthening surgery. So I faced adversity from the start. So yeah, my main thing was my doctors really wanted me to stay active. So my parents put me in around every sport you could think of. I did soccer for 11 years, softball, horseback riding, swimming. But once I got to high school, I really knew I couldn't really excel in any of those just because I could never run the fastest. I could never keep up with any of my teammates. So that's when I turned to golf. I was like, oh, I'll play a fun high school sport. This will be fun. It was tough at first, but I just kept at it. I played all throughout high school, my high school team, as well as junior golf. And then I found out about adaptive golf my senior year of high school, and I started it last summer as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, you're playing collegiate golf right now. That's incredible. You did grow up less than an hour from here in Manassas, Virginia, and you are familiar with Woodmont, having played it a few times. Do you think that gives you an advantage?
Yeah, I was lucky enough. One of my high school coach's students is also assistant pro here, so he was able to get me on. It's been really good to see the course under different conditions. The first time I played here, it just rained, and I played here last week, and it was kind of really dry and hot. So I think it does give me an advantage. It's good to see the course and how we'll play, whatever the weather will be.
And you made your debut at last year's US Adaptive Open. What did you learn from that experience, and how are you going to take that into this year?
Yeah, so it was my first adaptive event as well. I just played in the qualifier, so I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't used to all the cameras on me, but then this year looking back, I realized pressure truly is a privilege, and this is where I want to be. So just really taking it in and really just realizing how special it is to be a part of this.
And you've been involved with the Special Olympics Unified Sports Program for years now, and you're very passionate about it. Can you explain to everyone what it is and why you feel it's so important to you?
Yeah, so Unified Sports is a program that's across the whole country, but my high school offered it. I started around my sophomore year. I also did it with this club that's called Best Buddy. It's all about bringing those with intellectual disabilities into the workplace. So I started doing Unified PE my senior year in high school. It was a way for everybody to come and play PE. I feel like PE is always a separated thing with those with intellectual disabilities and those with regular students. So it was very important to me to unite with other people with disabilities, knowing how special it is to unite the two, because I feel like it's very separated. And I remember my first unified basketball game. I watched it and I literally wanted to cry. It was so moving. And that I feel like fueled my adaptive want to be a part of this because it's just so inspiring to watch everybody play. And I still do unified basketball in college. It's really fun. I really enjoy it.
It's fantastic. And I'll leave you with this. What does it mean just to represent the adaptive community as a whole at an event like this, at this championship? I guess that's a question actually for both of you if you want to answer.
Go ahead.
Oh, this is a tough one. It's just interesting to see we all come from different backgrounds and how this event just brings us all together and makes us realize we're all closer than we think.
It's inspiring. I mean, the support from the adaptive community has been incredible, and I know that it's gotten more competitive as there's been qualifying for the Adaptive Open, which I think is great. But a lot of good friends that weren't able to make the cut and can't be here this week, so it's a little bit of a responsibility, which I'm to perform and to represent for the adaptive community, which I'm thankful for.
Well, that's great, and thank you both for this great conversation. I know everybody here is looking forward to next week and seeing you guys tee it up. So thank you so much for the time.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
As many of you know, back in 2017, we announced the intention to stage a national championship for players with disabilities. Since then, and especially during the past 3 years of staging this championship, so many on the team have been hard at work making this dream come to life. This championship embodies what the USJ is all about. The US Adaptive Open showcases and celebrates the adaptive golf community by providing them a stage to achieve their dreams and compete for a national championship. At the USJ, we further unify the game by creating equal playing opportunities for all races, genders, ages, and now people with disabilities. We hope that the creation of the US Adaptive Open would inspire golfers of all abilities while spurring those with disabilities to take up golf, making the game better for the future. We've seen just that. We also hope the Adaptive Open would energize others in the industry to make the game and its competitions more welcoming to all. We've also seen that as well with several of our partners at allied golf associations throughout the country now conducting their own adaptive golf competitions, clinics, and programming, with many more making a commitment to do so in the near future. There's no better place than Woodmont Country Club to showcase this group of golfers. We're excited to be back here for the first time since 2020 when the club hosted the U.S. Women's Amateur, a thrilling victory by Rose Zhang. And that's the perfect segue, because I'd like to welcome up David Dorn, the Director of Golf here at Woodmont Country Club.
Welcome to Woodmont. We're very excited to host this championship. Back in 2022, I went down to the very first one in Pinehurst. I went down there because one of my former interns, Chris Biggins, was playing in the championship. Then I got to go around and follow him and watch him play 18 holes walking. Chris has cerebral palsy, and it was so inspiring to watch him and watch the other players navigate that golf course through a community. And I just said to myself, we have to do this. So I came back here. It was an easy pitch to Woodmont. One of the pillars of Woodmont Country Club is giving back to the community, and what better way to give back than to host this championship. Just then, we were also getting ready to start a renovation with our South Golf Course. And what better way to create this South Course? We had a vision of what we wanted to do, but in going along with building this course, we kept this championship in mind, where we're putting our tee boxes, making the tees flow right into the fairway. I'd go around with the architect and say to Joel Wyman, Joel, I don't think we can get a golf cart in this bunker. We need to make it, a little wider. We need to have accessibility, and we did that. The South Course is now a golf course that's going to challenge the very top player, but also be something that is for every level of player in golf. So we're very proud of what we've done here. Woodmont's proud to host this championship. You know, we've hosted 45 U.S. Open final qualifiers. We hosted the U.S. Women's Am in 2020. We've got this championship that we're really looking forward to this year, next year. We got the U.S. Junior in 2028. So Woodmont's excited, and we welcome you all to enjoy this opportunity that we have in front of us, and can't wait.
This championship's completely different from our others in a lot of different ways, so I will go through some of those. First of all, everybody in this field has a disability. So their eligibility's been certified by medical assessors from Shirley Ryan Ability Lab, and that is obviously the most unique thing about this championship. With that, we get to use Rule 25, which is the modified rules of golf for players with disabilities. So Ben will be an expert on those, and we're using those constantly throughout this championship. We have men and women in the same field. They're competing for separate prizes, but we'll have men and women here playing together. We have 23 women and 73 men in our field of 96 players. We have amateurs and pros, but we have more amateurs than pros by a lot, about 75% amateurs. We have multiple sets of tees out there, which again, you won't see it at any other USGA championship, and I'll touch on that a little bit more later. We have carts absolutely everywhere, which is, you never see carts at other USGA championships except for maybe some of our senior amateur championships. So every player and their caddy are going to have their own cart out there. We'll have 4 or 5 carts with every group, including a referee with every group. And what you will see here that is extremely unique are single rider carts for people who are normally in a wheelchair off the course. This allows them to play golf from a seated position so they can come out here and compete with everybody else. One of the greatest inventions ever, if you ask me. Normally in our USGA championships, we have black and white flag sticks with red flags. Here you'll see yellow, because that is optimal for players who are visually impaired. And you'll see things like more accessible hole locations. So we're not going to be able to put the hole on the edge of a green or near the edge of a tier, because again, we need seated carts and players with other impairments to be able to stand around the hole and ride the carts right onto the green. These seated carts go right onto the green so the players can keep playing and putt from there. As mentioned, we have in the literature we have 8 impairment categories. So we divide the players in the field into these 8 impairment categories so that we can set the field, determine tee assignments, and award prizes. And in terms of those prizes, everybody's competing for overall champion. All the men, all the women are competing for overall champion by gender, but then all 8 of these impairment categories have a winner as well. So there's 2 ways that they can try to win this next week. I touched on the multiple sets of tees. They're going to range from 4,400 to 6,400 yards. Players are assigned to these tees based on gender and impairment level. So the men will play from all 4 sets of tees, the women from the 2 forward in that group. And if you're asking why not 4 for women, it's because we don't have any female seated players this year. So that's the difference.
All right, don't forget the U.S. Adaptive Open, Woodmont Country Club, Rockville, Maryland, July 7th through the 9th. I'm going to be there. Hope you can get there as well. More stuff as far as like around there, because we did get a chance to play, which was amazing. It was awesome. LB and I both enjoyed it. And by the way, LB hadn't played in a few months. Still on fire. He was on fire. We're going to talk about that, who we played with as well. And you're also going to be able to hear audio from our one-on-one interviews with Cassie and with Ford. So I think you'll enjoy that as well. All right, everybody, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. It's available on all your podcast platforms. Hope you listen in. And yeah, catch you next time.